It's coffee time. What are you doing? Yeah, what are you doing? I just got done with a stream. I played East Origin, which is an old game, but it has like a PC port on Steam, and I had been looking through Steam kind of trying to find just like games to play. And I know that people really like the East games, and so I went to look at it, and the reviews were overwhelmingly positive, and I was like, how is that? What? Okay. So I decided to buy it and download it. And I think I'm like halfway through. I'm like 4.5 hours in, but I streamed a couple hours of it. I started the stream at 7:30 and it's 10:30 now. So yeah, we played a decent amount of that game. It's super fun. It's a really cute game. It's got a lot of difficulties. So like I'm playing on easy, but easy isn't even the easiest difficulty option. So I was like, I don't know what to expect from this game, so I'm just gonna go easy, I guess. But I would love to play it again on a harder difficulty. It's really fun. It's like you know the movie Dread, how the whole movie takes place inside of a tower? It's that, but a game where you're trying to achieve something. You know, there's this whole story, but the whole game, I guess, takes place in the tower. I was asking chat, I was like, I've been in this tower for a really long time. Does the whole game take place in the tower? And they were like, oh, yeah. I was like, oh, sick. Okay, then that makes that easy. Because I was like, I've beaten like 4 bosses already. Like, am I gonna leave this tower? You don't leave the tower, apparently. So, yeah, I'm totally cool with that. It's like a short form JRPG, which is really fun. It's super cool. So, yeah, I was excited about that. Played that for a while. In the middle of the stream, Watson curled up on my lap, and I was like, ah, because it was like the first time that she had done that since, you know, she came back. And she like got up and stretched and moved, and I looked down, and there was just the tiniest little poop, the tiniest little poop on the blanket, and I was like, oh, baby. Like, I can't be angry. I wouldn't be angry anyway, but like I can't be upset about her pooping on me because she's had stomach and intestine surgery, so like, you know, things like that are gonna happen sometimes. But I was like, oh man, I was like looking for something to wipe it up with. Unfortunately, I had like a paper towel just sitting over there. I don't remember why I was using it, but it was over there, and I was like, perfect! Wipe up the poop. So, but other than that, it all went swimmingly. Actually, speaking of Watson, I think this will probably be the last like Watson update for the surgery and all that. Today was her checkup day. Today was the day when I had to bring her back in, which I was like, oh my gosh, I hope she doesn't like freak out. But I had to bring her back in so that they could check the stitches and everything. I brought her in, and it was a different doctor, which I was okay with, because my normal doctor this week was only, my normal vet, was only free on Tuesday, which you guys know Tuesdays are like impossible for me. So I was like, no, let's not do that, thanks though. And so, yeah, I met with a different vet, but it was still a vet who was there for the surgery. So I was like, you know what's going on. I'm totally cool seeing this guy. So I went to a different vet, in the same building and all that, and he said her stitches look clean. They look like they haven't been fussed with at all, which is really good. There's no infection. Her temperature was great. You know, she weighed a little less, but that makes sense because she's been eating less. And I asked him about food, because every vet that I've talked to before, I've told them what I feed her, and they're like, that's plenty. She shouldn't need more than that. So I was talking with this vet about, like, how intense she gets about food, like, kind of manic. And I was like, I don't know if this is, like, a behavioral problem that I just need to deal with, like, to just figure out a way to deal with, you know, how she deals mentally with food. Like, is it a stress relief? Is it, you know, like, I don't know. So I was talking with him, and he he like looked at her charts and he goes, I think you should feed her more. And I was like, really? Because I feed her the same thing that I feed my large cat. And he was like, well, here's why I'm saying this. Because I bet in the past the other vets have said, she's eating plenty because you say, I feed her 2 cans of wet food a day, and they say, that's plenty for a cat. Which it is, it's supposed to be. And he said, but if you look at her numbers, like, have you been feeding her 2 cans of wet food a day pretty much for her entire life? And I said, yeah. And he said, all right, well, looking at every time she's been weighed in the past, judging by like her other paperwork, he said she's always weighed in as being very lean. Not like underweight, but kind of on the cusp. And he said, you know, all animals are different the way that all people are different. There's a possibility that she metabolizes food really fast, and that this kind of like starving, like how she seems like she's starving all the time. He was like, you know, she's obviously not starving. You feed her, but you might want to be giving her more. And I was like, okay, how much more? And he said, well, you know, I understand you feeding them only wet food, but maybe you try giving her a little bit of dry food. It's heavier. It'll give her more carbs, you know, more calories. And he said, you know, it might just help. It might be like the weird magical key is just giving her like a little extra food, like a little bit of dry food underneath the wet food. So that's what I'm going to try once, you know, once she's able to eat normally again, which will be like in a week probably. Once she's able to eat normally, then we can try giving her more food. It was weird because every other vet I had ever talked to was like, no, that's plenty. This is a behavioral problem. And this was the first vet that I had talked to who said, you know, maybe feed her more. I would feed her more if she was my cat, based on these numbers. And I was like, like, you're the first person to actually look at her charts and discuss with me logically, like, I think you should feed her more, and here's why. It's like, okay, I'll feed her more. Because I didn't ever want to feed her more in the past, because I didn't want to be... I know a lot of people, no names, I know a lot of people who feed their cats whenever they're hungry and their cats are huge, you know? And like Sherlock got really big and I was so worried about giving in with Watson and having her turn into like a huge cat. And so I was like, I need to be really strict about how much they eat. Like, they will eat the amount that cats need to eat and that's it. But... But now, like, after talking to him, he's like, no, I think you should feed her more. I'm like, okay. I'll try feeding her more then, I guess. Huh. Yeah, I'll try feeding you more. Sam's gonna be so upset if you poop on his chair. Don't poop on his chair. Okay? Don't poop on his chair. We'll be in so much trouble. But yeah. Yeah, so that was interesting. It was an interesting conversation to have. Yeah, and I haven't read any of the manga yet for MangaPod. Oops. I should probably do that. I should probably go do that now, actually. It's 10:30. That's not bad. I can stay up till midnight reading manga. Get a couple hours in. You know? You know. As far as I know, the Co-optional podcast is going on tomorrow. Everybody keeps asking me, like, is a podcast happening? I think it is. But, you know, we'll know for sure once. I've asked, and I haven't heard anything back, so I guess we'll find out tomorrow for sure. I'll tweet about it, or put up a stream video or something. Yeah. That's about it. That's it, guys. But, I'm gonna go and read some manga, and I hope you guys had an amazing day, and I will talk to you again tomorrow. Okay, bye-bye. Mwah!